Hello, welcome once again to Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Today, well, I'm using the egg boxes that I've saved throughout the year because it's time to chit my potatoes. Well, here I am outside, and today is a much calmer day than it's been over the last few days. I hope your growing spaces have survived and you haven't had too much damage from the storm that we had over the last few days. I've been very lucky here on the allotment. I've survived pretty well, actually. All that happened was my greenhouse door blew off and this table here was upside down and a few scattered pots, so I've been very lucky. My roofs have survived, which is a brilliant thing, so I hope that you haven't, as I said, had too much damage. Now, egg boxes, always a useful thing on the allotment. Well, you can just rip them up, use them in compost, put them on the ground, and they'll slowly help lighten your ground if you've got really heavy ground as well. But today I'm using them for my potato chitting. How do you chit potatoes is one of the ones I'm always asked. Well, believe it or not, potatoes have a pointy end and a dull end, and this is the dull end on this potato, and we've got a pointy end here. And as you can see already, these potatoes that I've just had in my greenhouse are already starting to sprout. You have to be really careful with these. We don't want to break these off because in a few weeks time, about 4 weeks or so, they'll be long enough to be able to plant either in the ground or in bags, and this year I'm doing mine in bags. Now I have two varieties, so I'm going to pop these in here. Now, where do you chit your potatoes? Where do you put them? Can they be in the dark or do they need light? It's always best to have light, a nice cool place, although if you have to have them inside the house in the heat, that will also be fine as well. Now, this is a difficult one because it's got two ends on, but I'm looking for the right end, so we'll pop that one up there and they will chit away nicely on their own. You don't need to do anything about them, just keep an eye on them, make sure pests don't get them and eat them. So we've got those in there. There are my Albert Rooster variety. Now these are a main crop variety, but an early variety. Obviously they're not they're just normal potatoes. These are great for baking and mashing, and they're called Elfie, E-L-F-E, Elfie potatoes, and they were £2 for 5. Well, I've actually got 6 actually, because probably one is a little small, so maybe do it on weight rather than anything else. So I've got my main crop potatoes, and successfully last year we grew some new potatoes. So I've got, and these are called Swift potatoes, and these are an early new variety, and yet again these just been in my greenhouse and they're starting to chit themselves, which is wonderful. Placed them in the egg boxes. I think really the egg boxes just to keep them upright, but they can go in anything. If you've got trays like that, pop them there. Look, as long as they can grow out and they've got plenty of air around them so they don't get damp or mouldy. And again, you can pop them in anything, even on top of a little glass or a cup. You can do the same thing if you haven't got any egg boxes lying around. There you are, actually 5 in there. Now 5 doesn't seem a lot, does it? But over the weeks I will start adding to these, so we'll have more. But actually that will get me a really nice crop here on the allotment. So there I am, I've started chitting off. They're going to go into the greenhouse and we'll just lay down the side. I'll keep an eye on them over the next few weeks and hopefully they'll grow nicely, big enough that we can plant them, as I said, in the ground or in a bag. This is what happens when you leave your potatoes far too long in the bag. Look at those. They are, well, very well chitted and they're growing really well. Look at all the rotten potatoes. I won't be able to plant those because these potatoes were the ones I actually grew 2 years ago here on the allotment, and they've been in my big shed. I put a piece of wood in front of them, completely forgot all about them because of last year's crop, and well, they've just had a whale of a time growing themselves, and look at that. They are what will become eventually the roots of the potato. Wow. Once again, thanks ever so much for watching. Ta-ra for now.